Hello everybody and welcome back to Forever and Ever the Killie Fans podcast. It's episode number 9 of season 4. We're delighted to be here coming to you from the luxurious surroundings of Limelight Studios in Irvine. My name's Paul Montgomery, joined this evening by my co-host Killie Chronicle, and we've got a very special guest in the studio, relegating me to third brawest man on the podcast. It's the Killie Chronicle's very own Ewan Paton. How's it going, mate?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
Are you excited to be here?
Absolutely. Just finally glad to see where my fiver's going every month.
Well, that's it, mate. Aye. So we put the other £2 to it. £7 a month. That's good. But it's good to have you down, man. So looking forward to. We've got a few questions for you, and we'll get a wee chat about your work with the Chronicle and beyond, if that's cool with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Always a pleasure to come on.
And I'm led to believe that you were the chauffeur this evening for Cal. What was he like as a passenger? Let's get that out of the road.
Lots of awkward silences, and I was quite a long half hour from Barhead actually.
Right. Again, similar to the podcast.
Exactly that. Nah, Ewan just he was filling me in with some stuff that he can't repeat on air. Hence all the conversations with me. Particularly when I'm getting chauffeured about, I really get into the nitty gritty with stuff that you get out of the way before we can actually talk about it live.
Well, that's what you're supposed to do. If you want to have an actual chat with, especially two men, you might get in the car and chat, because face to face it's harder. But when you're driving, you don't look. So that's when all the secrets come out.
You told me about that.
I told you that before. I think that is an actual thing. So plenty for you to update me on the way home then.
There's many chats supposed to happen after this about filling folk into certain situations.
all sorts going on.
But before that, we better talk about the football and talk about Celtic on Sunday.
Let's do that, mate. So as Cal says, we'll talk about Celtic back to league action. We've had a couple of text messages in, and all your Twitter questions, we'll answer those. All roads lead to Killie. The gripe of the week. Now, there was a gripe about the gripe of the week,
which we love, but I loved Alan's response to that right away, man. And I think he has a wee dig at it in his gripe as well.
Oh, has he? Right,
so,
I've not read it yet.
I just love that, man.
Well, it's controversial, the gripe of the week this week, because some of the people want to dig in the gripe. But we'll speak to Alan. Maybe Alan could put forward a positive anecdote of the week, something that makes him happy instead of sad all the time.
We need to change the segment then to something else.
So we're going to get another week. Hopefully it doesn't upset anybody too much, but all feedback is welcome.
No, well, that's
positive and negative.
Absolutely, but don't back down, double down.
Don't back down, double down.
That's exactly it. Well, me being the Democrat that I'm, suggested a referendum on it if we're currently happy with it. So if it comes to it and we still get the negative press about it for certain quarters, Alan Walker in the forums there, so what we'll do is we'll put it to a vote on the Twitter. Straight out and out question.
See what the people think.
And then see what it's at, and then that's it. It doesn't matter if you win by 1 vote or 100.
And I think Alan, to be fair to him, who is a huge Killie fan, a big contributor, got quite a few greenies too.
He did.
So it can't just be him. But anyway, we'll let the people decide. A referenda is approaching. It's a disaster. It's a catastrophe. Right, anyway, let's get on to the football stuff. What do you think of Scotland? Time to watch it?
I only watched the game on Friday, to be fair. I actually didn't watch it last night.
No.
I saw a little bit last night, the full thing, but I think they looked quite decent over both games. Denmark especially, was kind of back to a Steve Clark team, as
very Clark,
John McGinn said after. So 4 points, can't really complain at all.
Well, that was that immediately, and know that we're going to spend a significant amount of time talking about Scotland, but what you said there about John McGinn, that's the one thing that still gives me faith, because even I started to lose a wee bit in the great man after the Euros, despite really dying on a hill with him, saying this is the plan, we'll beat Hungary, this is what he's doing, and then we get beat. I'm a bit like, well, I'm out of excuses now, but the players definitely buy into it. So the players have, and I get that, but we've been here before. We've literally had players sitting in the dugout pulling the fingers about what the manager's up to, you know what I mean? So the fact that the likes of McGinn and that's coming out after and really talking up the manager tells you everything you need to know.
Aye, you think the press are still behind Clark?
Yeah, I do. I mean, there was definitely a turning point last year when Koulibaly won. And even like earlier this summer when obviously getting beat by Greece and Iceland, there was a bad one. I was at that game and bloody wish I wasn't. But I think that things have kind of got back on the kind of straight and narrow with it, which is exactly how you would kind of describe Clark, is just like to the point and get the job done. And hopefully, obviously, we've got 2 home games next.
That's right.
Fingers crossed, we can get the business done there. And also shout out to Grant Hanley. I thought he was outstanding in Denmark.
Very good.
This is what he does.
He did kick it.
Hanley turns into a kind of joke figure, and then out of nowhere pulls out a performance. So I take folk back to the Euro 2020. the first game, remember Czech Republic, obviously when that Ziyech or whatever scores for the
halfway line, aye.
Hanley that day was outstanding, and football, like, where's this came for? Like, this recovery pace out anywhere, don't get me wrong, that's obviously 4 years ago, but so no, it was good to see. But talking about the press, it'll be interesting to see if Ewan Cameron ever switches his allegiance back to Clark.
Oh aye, that's right.
Remember,
True,
he's absolutely obsessed with
The
him.
podcast's favourite Ewan.
He's you were on his podcast.
I was on his, for my sons.
And you said he was actually alright as well, didn't you?
It was fine when you were on the phone to him until the mic went on, then it all started again.
So you'll not be back on then?
I'll not be back. I'll not get invited. Right, anyway, enough of that shite. Let's talk about Killie. So Celtic on Sunday, back to league business. We're obviously undefeated so far. 4 points for the 4 games. Different type of challenge ahead, obviously, this weekend with Celtic coming down. My honest, like, sort of feelings on it are, I'm a wee bit worried about it, and I'll tell you why. I feel like there's like a lot of negative energy around about Celtic, but it's not really necessarily manifested in the league games. So I feel like there's almost an expectancy that we'll get something, but actually when you look at the evidence, Celtic have been beating everybody. So I'm a wee bit worried about it, because obviously I've seen a couple of posts on the KillieFC.com forums and all. Somebody was like, oh, as long as we don't get beat, and then somebody replying, oh no, that's the spirit. And I'm like, that is the spirit, because you would take a draw straight away at him to Celtic. So I am slightly worried about that. I think we definitely have the capability of getting a result, because I don't think Celtic are firing, and I think if we play properly and play well, I think we can get some. But just to get you, I'll go to you first, Killie Cal. What's your feelings? Are you glad to have Killie back for a start, and what's your feelings on Sunday?
Definitely glad to have Killie back, as everybody does. The international break is always a bit of a nightmare in it, but for me, I can see exactly where you're coming from, and I think that a lot of this is this, and not to sound too negative, the kind of false optimism about the season that's played out so far, where I think that things have been fine, but I don't think it's been great. Don't get me wrong. See, if we won 2 odd games and won 2 and drew 2, you're thinking, aye, let's go into this. We've not won a game yet, man. You know what I mean? So I know that Celtic are there to be got at, but I just have a feeling that we'll maybe see. The Killie Chronicle, which we'll come on to, obviously done a really good piece of the preview of Celtic, and I tend to agree with that analyst that I think we'll see a similar setup to what it was like against Motherwell. The way we played against Motherwell, we get the point and end it, but we're so deep, it was as if we were playing Rangers or Celtic away for him for periods of that game. But don't get me wrong, they go to the result. If they would attain a point before the game, you move on. But I just think that, again, I think this game, I'm not saying it'll make or break the season, I don't mean that by any means, but I think that it will define where we really are at. You know what I mean? If Celtic come in and then turn us over, maybe there'll be a bit of a reality check. But don't get me wrong, see if we go and get a result, then there is a lot of reason to be optimistic thereafter. But I just think that folk are maybe getting slightly carried away, and that's not me being defeatist, because, which we're going to discuss in the Patreon, is the Killie Court, one of my controversial opinions, is like, I thrive off of these games against Rangers and Celtic. I want to get into them, I want to beat them. I don't see them as, oh, you write it off and ending's a bonus. Like, I still think, especially our record against both sides of the Old Firm at home, and our performance levels have, on the main, been really, really good there the last few years. But I just think that, I see what you're saying on the forums, it was good to see fans full of a bit of confidence, but I was thinking, it's still Celtic, by the way. If they turn up, they'll beat us. So, like, there's no doubt about that. But I think that Rodgers' record at Rugby Park in particular isn't too great. It's one of the places that he really, really does struggle, and there is a lot of negativity around Celtic. So if we can go frustrate them, but no just sit back, as the Chronicle put out on the way we played against Motherwell, we really need to go and have a go at them as well, and then that'll really get the fans turning. Because I think that if we sit, I don't think we're good enough to sit and continuously do that, because we're still conceding goals. We're drawn to each other the time, you know what I mean? We're conceding goals. I think that if we go and have a go at them and try and score early, then you never know what will happen. But I think that we'll know a lot more come Monday, man. I know that sounds like a kind of sitting on the fence way out, but I just think that it'll go one way or the other, and folk will either be questioning where we're really at, or folk will be like, right, there is something really to get behind here. And I'm not saying you don't get behind the team, but I think some of the optimism's maybe a bit over the top, particularly getting into a game against Celtic.
Pates, what's your vibe yourself, man?
I think Cal speaks a lot of sense, and it's kind of hard to kind of top any of what he said, but try to be positive first of all. Like, the last place they'll want to come is Rugby Park, especially in the kind of nick that they're in at the minute. I say the nick, like they're top of the league, well, joint top with Hearts. They've obviously got a significant gap over Rangers already, but I mean, they were pretty poor against Rangers. I know Rangers were every bit as poor, and then fair to say they were embarrassed in the Champions League. They should have been beating that Kairat team every day and twice on a Sunday, but they didn't. There's obviously a lot of unrest in terms of the fans with the board, and probably vice versa as well, with the kind of statement they came out with at 9 o'clock on a Saturday night. I'm glad I wasn't working for that. And then, you know, it comes out that Maeda wants to leave. Only thing you would say in the kind of contrary to the fact that he's, you know, could potentially down tools, it doesn't look like he's trying as the World Cup year, etc. So he's got to just kick on and do his job and hopefully get, from his point of view, get himself a move in January. They do have a few injury doubts with Ralston. Alistair Johnson's definitely out. I think Kieran Tierney's a doubt because he pulled out the Scotland squad. So there's potentially like a little bit of a weakened backline, which are hoping that the likes of Daniels and Dackers can get in amongst. That's the way it's kind of got to be. That's obviously the way that McInnes went about it with Watkins and Vass in the past. Obviously we had success against them a couple of years ago, but I kind of echo a lot of what Cal says. Like, any sort of positive result against Celtic would be outstanding for Killie, let alone you know, off the back of what has undoubtedly been cutbacks, and there is a drop off in quality no matter how anyone kind of wants to dress it up. I think we're doing fine, but still playing the best team in the country, so I suppose we'll just kind of need to go defend and try and hit them on the counter, whether it's a home game or not.
I'll be interested to see what team he goes for, because obviously when you're playing Celtic or Rangers, and it might be the same, like you say, the way for Park, might be the same up at Aberdeen, might be the same at Tynecastle this year, I don't know. Will we go with that kind of similar system with the wing backs and all, or do you think he'll change it? Do you think he'll maybe go something that looks a bit more defensive, maybe go with one up front in the 2 10s, or if you get any feelings on how that might unfold?
I think that we will see changes on Sunday. I think that you've obviously got Williams will be back in contention. He was on the bench for Wales under 21s, and I think that he's obviously somebody that's come in though to really sit on the bench. He's, for our kind of level, you would argue that he's almost a kind of high profile signing considering the amount of football he's played, and I imagine clubs in England would have taken him. So it'll be interesting to see whether he comes into the fore or no. But I have a feeling that I still think it'll be 3 at the back with 3 centre halves. It'll be interesting. I don't know. I presume Brandon will be out. I don't know whether he'll be back.
So, like, as far as I'm aware, it's probably a bit too soon for him. I was kind of told it would be up to about 4 weeks at the Motherwell game, so it won't be far off. It might be more realistic for St Mirren game, but it's one of those ones that the manager gives so little away about injuries that it wouldn't surprise you if come 2 o'clock or 1:45 on Sunday that he's starting. Something I noticed earlier, and I could be mistaken, I might have misread it, but Scotland under 19s played today, and I didn't see Ben Brannan's name.
He wasn't quoted at all.
So I'm hoping there's nothing kind of
sinister.
I'm hoping he's not picked up a knocker or anything like that. And
there's whatever optimism I had right
no, sorry to bring everyone down there, but just try to bring everyone up to date. But
you're just getting everybody in the mood here, man. You know that way. It's like, get your can and listen to this podcast and get the door. Like, I'm not going to bother actually. Matalan's the refit if you fancy going to Matalan instead.
The McDonald's at the Q8, I know.
I see. Listen, so many options. But I don't know what it'll do. So if say Brannan and Brandon both miss out,
like
who do you play in their positions?
Dom Thompson and probably, well, I would say Brad Lyons, but then there's even a doubt over him because obviously
he missed Northern Ireland. So it might be James Brown debut. Aye.
Oh, of course, aye. For forgetting about him there. So
Jimmy.
Well, again, it's one of those. If you end up losing your 2 key kind of wing backs, I mean, we're probably at peace with the fact that maybe Brandon will not be featuring as Ewan says until maybe a couple of weeks short of that. But Brandon's been so key to everything that's gone well for us this season. So if they're missing, then he maybe does need to rethink the system, because that's when you think of that system, they're your 2 key positions as your wing backs, and if you're needing to juggle them, maybe you go for something a bit more I don't know, close to home, a kind of simple back 4 or whatever. But if you ask me, I still think that probably will be a 3 with the wing backs. Who that'll be, I don't know. As you said, Thompson certainly for the left, and whoever will play in the right, whether it would be James Brown or whether he's still short of games or not. Do
you think Watkins has got any chance of starting after his cameo up at Fir Park?
Don't see him starting, but I think he could play more minutes
Aye.
off the bench. I still don't see him starting as such, but I'm pleased that in a sense it's kind of settled and that he's staying. We all know that, at least for the time being, he's going to knuckle down and try and do his best. I think everyone saw that when he came on, and you guys obviously touched on it last week. He looked fresh, and the accusations being that his legs have gone, and while there probably have been instances where it's looked like that, didn't seem like that in Motherwell certainly. And although it wasn't exactly like a high-speed chase like going on down that wing, like it certainly showed that he still got the effort and the desire to do well and burst a gut type thing. So I think he could come on and certainly ruffle a few feathers.
What about say we stick to the same system then, right? But 3, does he play right in the middle? Watson, say they're off at Watson, Lyons, both still? Is that the 3?
That's kind of who I wrote about, but then at the same time, is this the kind of game where if fit enough, McGuinness might start?
Aye, that's a good point.
I mean, the more fit by Kyle McGuinness plays is good news for Kilmarnock, so I'd be pleased with that. It's interesting though, because I tend to agree beforehand about Watson in that kind of advanced role that's maybe no really worked as well, but I have a feeling the likes of Sunday would maybe suit that, where folk can cast their minds back to when we get our point at Parkhead, obviously under McInnes back in February 2024.
The great game of the subs.
That's right.
The subs, you loved the subs that day.
The subs, aye, they were excellent, but I'm going to go for an air point and give Kyle Vassell a bit of credit. So again, he went with the 2 up top, Vassell and Watkins, as we touched on. That was the partnership that got us to Europe. But Vassell was so key because it was something that was dropping off. Watkins stayed high. Vassell basically man-marked Callum McGregor that entire game.
Right.
He was the one out of possession, coming back down and obviously covering that space. For me, again, obviously I'm not a football manager unless Sunday Football FM wants to get in touch now. But for me, I'm saying David Watson just down Callum McGregor. McGregor will hate that. Just summed up in his face. I would fancy Watson to actually get the better of him. Just to he never stops running constantly. Don't get me wrong, McGregor's so good at dropping the shooter, but it's got to happen if you're on him constantly. But for me, that's the role I'd begin him. If you stop Callum McGregor, you stop Celtic.
I think he kind of did that. Was it the 2-0 game last November when obviously he put up a good fight?
He played really well.
I'm pretty sure Watson was doing something similar to that last year, because I kind of remember him being all over him like a rash, and there was maybe the odd time where McGregor either gave the ball away or whatever, looked really annoyed, and you could get the crowd getting up behind Watson, whatever, and then there was maybe the other time where McGregor managed to evade him, and it's like, oh no. But he's definitely the kind of player you'd want to do that.
Aye, so feels like we need something, I think. I was saying to Ewan just before we come on earlier, like, I think it's because it was been such a relentless sort of news cycle for McInnes leaving, Kettlewell getting the job, and then it's this big raft of signings that have come in, and then you're into that early sort of League Cup stuff, and it's been game, signing. It's been nice to have a wee pause, I think, to actually reflect on it. And I don't know, I might be miles off it here. I don't know if it feels slightly flat, like just in reflection, and again, maybe that's a natural response to how mental it was last year. If you think for Europe to McInnes, Lee and everything in between, but there was hundreds to talk about all the time. But I don't know if it feels to me like a big week, because if you go and get a decent result against Celtic, or even a decent performance in a narrow 2-1 or whatever, and then go and beat St Mirren next Friday night, it's like you're saying, I do think it lifts everything and you feel like, right, we're on this year. But on the flip side, if you lose by 3 games, which is perfectly possible, I don't know. Maybe you can relate. Maybe you can't. I just feel like it just feels slightly flat now, and we need just a wee kick up the arse again. What do you think?
100% agree with that. That's essentially, as always, you seem to put into better words than what I do. But that's what I was getting at, because I think that there's folk out there that seem to think that it's been a revolution, and it's not been. Let's be honest, it's been fine, but I'm not seeing, this is definitely the future of Kilmarnock. I mean, because of how Jekyll and Hyde things can be, as you've just said there, we get one good performance, i.e. competing against Celtic, but they still beat us, and we beat them in the Cup. Folk are happy, but as you said, on the flip side of that, then questions start to get asked again, and it's so frustrating, but it's just the way that football is now. Everyone's reactionary, everybody's got a platform, i.e. the 3 are sitting on the other night, being able to say what we want, and potentially 1,500 folk listening to it or watching it. But it's I just think that I think Sunday will tell us a lot about how the season will go. Honestly, I think that if we go out and we compete with them, again, we're not expecting, as you said, man, if we're murdering, we get a draw, we absolutely take it. But if we go and put up a good fight and at least cause Celtic a bit of some problems, or make them think twice about coming down and steamrolling us, that's going to be a good thing. But if they go and beat us comfortably, then you're going to the St Mirren game and we get the cup, then folks start to maybe lose a wee bit of faith.
And then you've got an away game at Dundee United after that, so it's just one of those ones that it could continue.
It rolls on a bit, doesn't it?
I totally echo exactly what you boys have said, where I do think things have gone flat. And I remember texting you before the Motherwell game, and I was just saying that I'm so ready for a break from this, because it had been pretty relentless, 9 games, obviously loads and loads of transfers in and out, the cup games, obviously the new manager coming in. It just felt as if it was getting a little bit samey, even just with the performances and the draws, performing well for bits, which is obviously understandable. It's obviously still so new, but we haven't really had that kind of complete we look good here, and I know that's going to take time, and I'm not necessarily expecting that against a game against Celtic, of course, but it's going to take a hell of a performance to even get a point. So I think it is a big game, and hopefully we can get something. But I think you're right in what you're saying. It does feel flat, even from the point of view of, while it has been new, there's just so many things that haven't quite happened yet in terms of enough to pique excitement amongst the fans. Absolutely not having a go by any manner of means, but there's not been much of an atmosphere in terms of the home games. It's been quite noticeable. See, especially because I'm in the press box now and I'm a bit removed from it. You've not really heard anything.
I just feels a wee bit flat. So I do think, for everybody's benefit, and obviously for the table's benefit and getting points on the board, a draw or a win on Sunday would just be fantastic. And then you're leading into that big game next Friday night, so we'll see. Right, so let's get some predictions in then, chaps. Obviously I don't need to, because I don't need to. So what are you predicting, Cal, on Sunday? Give me one for your head and one for your heart. Because they'll not be the same thing.
Well, you know me, I always
never backed against Killie in his life.
I never backed Killie to get beat. I think I told the story. I think I backed against us once in my life, because I was so desperate for Gary Locke to get sacked, and they still let me down the drew at him to Dundee United, and I was like, come on, man,
kind of doing it for you.
So the only time I've ever, because you get the fault, I back against Killie because it's a win-win, because that way 3 points for us, brilliant. Hey, fucking win some money. That's not me, man. Never done that in my life.
Who has that voice that you do? You've been doing it for years.
My alter ego.
Is it your alter ego? Aye. The person you really want to be.
Exactly, man. Exactly. No, just your kind of stereotypical big man talking to you. That's what that is. So, anyway, that aside, I'll predict us to get a point.
A point?
Aye. I think that we're capable, as the evidence suggests, given we've drawn 100% of league games so far. I think that, again, I just think Celtic, it's ironic, because I think if it was same circumstances that Celtic were in this time last year, even was in Europe, I would fancy us to actually go and beat them under McInnes. He's shown that before. Just think that now, as Ewan says, it's a new team. A lot of them have never experienced what it's like to play against the likes of Celtic. That's where you need your likes of I would go as far as saying Watkins as well, man. I'd 100% have him involved. He's caused them problems before. But Davy Watson, Brad Lyons and that, all these guys to really turn up and lead by example as the day most weeks. But I would go for a draw, but I would be happy with our performance, man. If we can go and get a wee goal and it's a narrow defeat, then we take it. It's definitely something to build on.
Right. You?
I'll go 1-0 Killie with a Lewis Mayo goal.
Oh, yes.
I think that would cap off what's been a fantastic start to the season for him.
Lewis Mayo, of course, renowned goal scorer for Killie, aren't you?
Aye, absolutely.
Do you a goal, innit?
Aye, I mean, was it one goal he scored at Motherwell?
It was a good finish as well, was it not?
Fat volley or something?
Aye, kind of came to the edge of the box. Anyway, I'll go nice and positive and say he's going to score and we'll win 1-0.
Like it.
Right, I'm going to go for... We go down 2-0 and it's 2 each again.
Sure.
Nice.
That would be brilliant.
Down 2-0 at half time. The Ket moves the chess pieces, does some bits and bobs, goes a bit of skateboarding, gets his vibe back, and we draw 2 each. Late goal.
I think I would probably actually feel better than a win, to be fair.
That would be
amazing.
amazing.
That.
Because I just think Celtic are wobbling a wee bit, and you could just see them maybe taking the foot off the gas. So I'm going to go for another 2-2, another
that's
Vicar.
it, and they'd be so vulnerable with just that one goal coming back. That's where Celtic would relay, and the fans would turn on them. It's funny. I get something else to tell you after.
Right.
Just when it's came to it. Because you've obviously read Limmy's book, haven't you?
I have.
So this is like a chapter in that.
Extremely funny.
Remember when he goes to the meeting with the BBC out in Ewan?
I don't recall that exactly.
There's two characters, and it could arguably be the two managers going up against each other.
Right, okay, right. We'll come back to that. Right, so we're all feeling that we're going to get a positive result then, despite us maybe being a wee bit miserable there.
I wouldn't say we're miserable.
No, it's real talk.
Aye,
body.
And it's not that we're saying, we're shite with this. We're definitely not saying that. We just think that temper expectations. I'm being really, really cautious, man.
Don't get too high, cautious. Don't get too low.
That's my new catchphrase.
You sound like you work for the club now.
No, I'll say some controversial things after, man.
Aye. Right, so Ewan, obviously you're known for being the man, or one of the men behind the Killie Chronicle. Is this season 3? Season 2? Just season 2? Wow.
I know, it feels a lot longer than that.
You've been in with the Brexit fews, man. So how's it all going this year?
Yeah,
what's the plans for it, etc, etc?
Just keep it going as well as it can, to be fair. We started, it was the day before the first European game was our launch. And, you know, reflecting back, it probably was a little bit rushed. Maybe a little bit ill-prepared, but just kind of rolled with punches and taking things how it's kind of come. It's obviously a new kind of thing to ask people to pay for their journalism and the kind of reporting that goes on around the club. Obviously we still do offer like match coverage for free, and we've got like presser kind of content that goes out for free as well, but in terms of like interviews and other kind of bits around the club, in terms of if we have any sort of exclusive information or insider kind of knowledge to pass on, and other features that Gaby comes up with on a regular basis too. But we've got plenty kind of stored away in the bag. It's maybe been a little bit of a quieter week or two for us, just with things going on. So apologies to anyone about that if they've been wondering where we've been. But no, we've got some good interviews coming up. Hoping to kind of get them out fairly soon. Just a couple of wee bits I need to kind of get my ducks in a row with that in order to let it go. And honestly, just to keep building it and get as big a community as we can. Very similar to you guys, of course. Like, you appreciate everyone that's willing to support you and obviously go that extra mile to put their hard earned behind you. And you know, without them, it's just not possible. And it's just kind of the way like the industry's moving. Like, obviously I work for a company where they've got multiple subscriber based websites, like the Celtic Wear, the Rangers Review, Heart Standard, etc. And you know, good quality of anything is, we believe, is worth paying for. And I remember like speaking to people that were very kindly come up to us at the Killie Con to pass on their feedback, and we got some lovely comments. I was just sort of trying to reassure them that I generally wouldn't stick something out just for the sake of it. I would want people, if I wouldn't pay for it myself, I wouldn't put it out, and that's kind of the kind of standard I've set in my head for it. So we'll just keep that going as best we can. And we've obviously got other like ideas in terms of like video stuff. Obviously spoke to Corey on camera, he was much more calm than me, put it that way.
Were you nervous that day?
He was
like,
mega.
I did very well.
No, definitely nervous for that. But I mean, he just made me more nervous because he was fucking winding me up.
Oh, is it?
Sorry for swearing there.
No, you can say whatever you want in this podcast.
Exactly, evidently.
But, yeah, and you know, Lexi, your father, come up to us at KillieCon as well. He was very complimentary, so it was lovely to kind of get things of that. And obviously, thanks very much for having us there at the stall, because we got a good turnout of it. And even just obviously we're dishing out leaflets and things like that. So even just to spread the word about it for people that maybe weren't even aware, even at this point after a year. But obviously appreciate the exposure that you guys have helped with. And I absolutely just, honestly, like, the goal is just to keep it going as well as possible. I've not really set any sort of grand, massive targets that I'd certainly be willing to kind of share publicly anyway. But hopefully have some sort of exciting announcement to make fairly soon. With regards to something we'll kind of have every month coming up, but I can't really say too
can't
much
say any more than that.
That's it,
no
man.
Exclusive here.
So what's like early course of the last year or whatever, what would you say has been like your biggest highlight or the best bit of work that you've been proud of personally, as opposed to the whole KC?
The best bit of work. That's
the Naismith interview was brilliant.
The Nazy interview was very good. I enjoyed doing that one. It was kind of one of those ones where I wanted to do it for quite a while, and I was just kind of trying to get him. But then he started speaking to every Tom, Dick, and Harry. So I was like, surely to God. But he was a hero of mine growing up, so that was a real kind of highlight. And then like Paul Heffernan was really good to speak to, and that took me bloody ages to type all that because he could talk.
That's what you want, though, innit, man? You want plenty of content.
Not even just things like that, like obviously like building relationships with like sources and things like that. They're obviously able to, keep you in the loop with things and whatever else. And like we kind of told the story about the kind of money situation and what Killie kind of made from Europe to try and kind of pass it on as in the kind of clearest way we could. Things like that, and ultimately just try to be like a news source that people can trust and keep coming back to. I think that's kind of honestly been the most positive thing for me, because it had been a goal, certainly for me personally, for a while, to kind of be that person that folk maybe hang their hat on. And I'm not saying that folk can't get Killie news anywhere else, because they absolutely can, but just in terms of like the consistency of it and the quality of it.
Well, it's evident with the questions that we've got, because there's 3 or 4 directed at Ewan specifically to
people want answers.
To keep folk into the loop, man. But and then just aside for that, before we actually move on to the questions, just thought we'd be good to cover that period of time, for, as Monty spoke about beforehand, about the absolute chaos and how this season feels a bit flat.
Aye.
But take us back to what it was like with all the McInnes stuff.
The end of last season.
Aye, the end of last season to the manager getting announced in between a holiday.
Decent story, aye. But going back to the start, it was like straight after or kind of just before the Dundee game.
Aye, that's where it broke. Right. Aye.
And I remember we were in communication maybe like Thursday, and the game was a Saturday, and I remember speaking to you, and I'd heard pretty strong things that the wheels were in motion type thing, and obviously I know you were on BBC and things like that, and we were just sort of alluding to it, but like no one was really kind of saying it. And obviously we all know how football works. You spoke about it at the time, like things do happen, and it's just can't really be said in a certain way. Whether that is the absolute case or not, we'll never know, but it was pretty clear to me kind of straight after the Dundee game that things were going to happen. Then obviously there was the thing with Sky, and I remember being with you boys at the table at the Player of the Year, and you were absolutely raging.
Aye, that was tense that night, wasn't it? I was quite surprised they turned up, actually.
I know.
Aye.
Because it felt quite tense in the room that night, I thought.
Aye, absolutely. Well, again, we've went over it time and time again, but for anybody that maybe doesn't know, of course, we're referring to the Sky Sports debacle we had Boyd.
Aye, so that was kind of earlier in the day, wasn't it? And then I turned up. Didn't obviously say anything, but he turned up. He was there, absolutely. Saw him.
That was at the Player of the Year, wasn't it?
Yeah, aye. So that was a Sunday night, and then the presser before the Motherwell game was the Tuesday.
Because the contact get made on the Monday, wasn't it? Obviously,
that was the official line. Contact made on the Monday. And then
we just try to bring everybody back.
It was a surprise to hear from the club saying that he was going to speak to the press, but I think he obviously wanted to take control of that situation, or so he would have said, obviously, and tried to portray it that way. But the busiest I've ever seen that press room, and anyone that's ever been in it, it's small.
Aye.
Like, it's long, but quite contained, and the ceiling's slanted, so it can get quite warm in there at the best of times. So, but never mind when there's 20, 25 folk in there. It was quite crammed, to say the least, and usually the boys have the chairs like quite set up near the front. Not that I tend to sit in them, because we usually speak to them off camera after the broadcasters have spoken to them, but there was a lot of broadcasters in from Sky, BBC, STV, etc. The local Ayrshire radio station with Scott Watson, he was there. That might have been one of the first times I saw him, actually, and remember he got a lot of kind of credit for trying to get to some kind of Killie related stuff, but it was always just going to be about the Heart situation. And it was roasting, it was crammed. But anyway, these chairs that are usually right down at the desk were at the back of the room. It was like social distancing. And we, like, there was loads of us like print guys like up the back, where we would kind of observe anyway, as you would usually observe the broadcast, just to hear what's been said, so that you know like what's already been told and what you can then follow up on, or you can ask something that you already had in your head and you're thinking, great, that's already been asked yet. Anyway, it was just kind of straight to it with the Heart stuff. It was really intense. I filmed the full thing, like, because I knew I wanted to clip it to fire on Facebook and whatever else, like on the Killie Facebook page, because I knew it would do well and folk would want to see it. Not like, Sky cameras and that are there anyways. They're going to clip it and put it on soon as anyways. But it's kind of one of those ones where I wouldn't feel like I was doing my job properly if I didn't try and offer that. Anyways, I kept getting pushed, and he just sort of said, contact's been made. I've got a great relationship with Billy Bowyer. I was away for breakfast with him this morning and all that.
Right. Did you ever find out where they went?
Caper.
Brekkie?
I think it was that
Morrison's Cafe?
Spoons, man.
Spoons.
Miner's Benedict.
Probably that Buzzworks place in Stoughton. Let's be real. And then there was a guy for BBC up the back. I don't know who it was. Generally,
That's
don't
right,
know.
man.
And he said, "Do you want the job?" And he just was like blank. And obviously, like Lachlan's doing his job, and he's like move on. Absolutely. And
he's just a young guy as well, wasn't he? The BBC, like,
honestly,
somebody that nobody knew.
I don't know. I generally nobody knew him, and then you could just see Derek, like, he just focused on the first person he could see. It was Ronnie Chattersworth TV. He was like, Ronnie. So he's like obviously desperate for him to like ask a question. Anyways, after that, like, we walked out, and I maybe had a bit of a word with the BBC guy, which obviously can't repeat, and a bit of a stern look. So we walked out, and then we kind of spoke to him outside as we usually would. Not that we kind of took much else, because he kind of said everything he wanted to say. But that was the last time we spoke to him.
Has he never texted you or anything since? Just totally patched you?
No, mate, no. But I mean, I could have texted him, but it was just like,
aye,
there's no real point. Probably wouldn't have got a reply anyways. So that was kind of how that played out, and then obviously the Motherwell and the Wednesday night, the chants and everything, and asking Peanut his thoughts about it after. I was kind of asking him as if to be like, I was trying to have a go. But he was like, thought I was kind of like, that's ridiculous. Like, I was on his side.
He thought you were backing him up.
I was like, that's the impression I was getting with his answers. I was like,
listen, if there's one thing you can't do is read a room, it's Peanut. Exactly. So we're well aware of that. But that's sensational, man.
Aye. So then the Thursday I was meant to be off, I got a text from Lachlan, like, very early doors, being like, it's not going to be a day off. I was like, alright, sound. And then it obviously comes out that he's parted ways or whatever. He won't be, or
I won't have been in the dugout on Sunday,
essentially, because he hadn't actually officially left until the Monday after the Hearts game. And it was just a bit chaotic, because that morning I was going to ask Lindsay's dad for permission to get down on one knee. And then
typical Dale hanging himself all the time.
I was driving over there, and I'm getting texts with this all the time. Obviously no texting while I was driving, and then when I parked up and I'm texting Gaby frantically, I was like, get this on, like, and then I had a really sore back at that time, so I had a massage booked for 12, and then I had to be at Killie for like 1:15. It was a bit hectic, and then I was away on holiday like a couple of days after the Hearts game, and then the Sunday was the day I'd picked to propose at Lake Garda, and so it was a really chilled out day, like by the pool, relaxed, sleeping, reading a book in the sun, chilling. And then I got a text again later that kind of afternoon, evening time, when I'm about to go and get ready, and obviously I know the significance of...
Was it fair dad saying he's changed his mind?
Just as well it wasn't. I knew the significance of that night and whatever, so I was starting to get a wee bit kind of jittery, but still like cool enough. And then I got a text say, Stuart Kettlewell's the man. And I was thinking, oh Christ. So obviously at this point everyone's still dead set against the idea, myself included. And then I'm asking like anyone in my work if they can help me with getting a piece out online about it. Brilliant. Gaby's on holiday, I'm on holiday, nobody else is about, so I didn't even know I could edit the site from my phone, but I had found a way. So just on Safari, managed to log into Substack, edit, got a picture for SNS, rapid as anything. So this was at like 5 o'clock, the booking was for 7. I was planning on being down there about half an hour early to, like, you know, do the deed by the water, and I struggling for a taxi. So it was a bit of a whirlwind, but thankfully all went well.
So at least you always remember the day you proposed to your
I
missus.
added a bit of colour. But writing about Stuart Kettlewell approximately 75 minutes before I got down on one knee was not what I had
honestly,
in mind.
I've got a tear in my eye. It's one of the most romantic things I have ever heard in my life.
It's absolutely
that
sensational.
is beautiful, mate. So a crazy week for everybody, but in the kind of rear view mirror now. Right, so I'll get the questions up, Charlotte.
Let's go for
it. Do your show and tell whilst I do it. Is this what this is?
So it's Ewan's show and tell. So that's what we'll do whenever we get a guest on, for them to bring some kind of piece of significance to us. So what you got for us, Ewan?
I'll try and show it to this camera here in a second. So it's not my first Killie related piece in the Herald, but it was my first column. So I've been at the Herald now for 4 years, and this column was dated the 19th of December 2022. And McInnes must take action or the drop beckons for Kilmarnock is the kind of headline after Ewan Paton on Monday. And it was just after we'd been beaten by Hearts right after the World Cup break.
Bobby Wells won it.
That's a game Big Innes did his hammy before.
Aye.
So I was just kind of writing about the fact we were hopeless away, hopeless in general. And, you know, if they didn't kind of buck up their ideas, we were going straight back down. So that was kind of the first proper column that I'd ever had in the paper.
Messi on the front and Payton in the back.
I know. Well,
unbelievable.
The day before was the World Cup final. So that's actually quite cool. I didn't even realise that.
There you go, man.
That's good for him, I know. He'll have realised.
I don't think he's had enough headlines in his career.
No, that'll be good for him.
That was about me that day.
Very nice, mate.
But that's class.
We'll go with that one. But the other one was just the kind of Nutmeg magazine that we'd created with the Herald for Euro 2024, and I'd had a kind of big piece with Stuart Finlay, Rory McKenzie and Gary Dicker all about Sir Steve. So kind of Sir Steve was kind of my happiest time as a Killie fan, like growing up and things like that. Obviously great memories as everyone does, so to be able to kind of get proper in-depth insights, I think I spoke to each of them for at least about half an hour. Gary Dicker was about an hour actually. That was
class,
good
man.
Fun too.
Excellent, mate.
Superb, mate.
Excellent. Well, you're in with the pros of the night, mate, so don't worry. I wrote a letter into the Killie Standard in 2003. I'll bring that in next week. Right, first question comes for the Killie View podcast. What is the perfect meal deal from Tesco?
So
it says on transfer deadline day, but I don't know what difference that makes. So we'll just go. What's your meal deal for Tesco?
In case you need a wee buzz to keep you up, man.
Aye.
For all the exciting business.
I was kind of taking it as it was really boring, so like make it a really boring meal.
Aye,
well,
okay.
that's
You're obviously cheesy onion baked.
I get a bit of backlash for that off a few folk, but then somebody else got in touch, Ben Stewart, and his wife Ashley praised me for those comments. So
did they? Good,
I'll
mate.
take that.
Good.
But if I was to get a meal deal for Tesco, I'm a chicken Caesar wrap and cheese and onion baked. And I don't know, a lookahead sport or a diet I am brew.
Okay, no bad. Years and years for having a meal deal. I was never a big meal. I was like,
you shop in Waitrose, didn't you?
I'm Waitrose, aye. But normally Marks and Spencer's or Waitrose. But normally when I go to I'm the type of guy that she goes, oh, if you add in a twirl or you add in that juice, it's actually cheaper for you. And I'm the type of guy that goes, well, I don't want a twirl though, so it's no cheaper.
Nah.
So I'm not a meal deal guy, so I actually don't have the answer.
Yeah, I'm the same. No comment.
So actually got sushi for the meal deal a few times.
Oh, right.
Like sushi.
I like sushi too, but I don't know about Tesco sushi.
That's good.
Is that right?
Too used to using your Sparks card.
Exactly, man. Right, Mikey Kenmure, question for you. And does he know if there's ever been an offer on the table for David Watson? Or there is an offer on the table for David Watson. I assume that means
contract offer.
And I put £20 on my pitch in on my season ticket purchase this season, and now Killie have put in a tweet out today for the pitch. Does this mean I get the certificate, or have I got to pay again? And Ali Nevins asked something similar about that. What do you guys make of this pitch in campaign for the grass surface, especially after some fans have donated at the season ticket? Are the club taking advantage of fans' loyalty to get some money out of them? That came out just as we were coming on. Nice wee video actually with Robbie Dees and Brad Lyons talking about getting in, helping out with the new pitch, and you get like a virtual square of the pitch with your name on it, and you get entered into prize draws, so there's a wee bit back that you get. But first of all, what's your knowledge on the Watson situation, and then we'll discuss this pitching. What are you thinking?
don't know categorically that there's an offer on the table, but I'd have to imagine there is. Like, I know for sure, and as I've put out there about a month ago or so, that there's talks ongoing, certainly with quite a few players. Ben Brannan was one of them. Obviously that came to fruition. I was led to believe there was a couple that were close, but maybe that's just hit a little bit of a hiccup. I don't really know what the reasons for the other ones not coming through yet would be, or maybe it's just kind of a case of the players just kind of want to focus on playing at the minute. I don't honestly know, but as far as I'm aware, it's, you know, the guys that people are asking about, it's pretty accurate.
Aye, no, that's fair. Right. So again, with regards to the contracts, again, no privy to that, but you'd like to hope that you're trying to protect them, and the fact that we move quickly on Brannan suggests that we have, we're at least trying to protect our assets. The pitch in stuff, again, I presume it's an additional certificate for every day it does it.
You put a tenner in and it gets you a wee block of the pitch that's yours forever. Your name will be on it if you go on the website.
So I mean, I presume
and
that
you get a certificate.
Again, well, this is the thing, and obviously the whole brick fiasco in the summer and that, but Killie really good at retrospectively cleaning up the mess. So I presume that MD who donated to that before this launch today would be entitled to that. I mean, why they wouldn't would be beyond me. So and they've surely got a trail of that and all the records on hand. I can see why they maybe need to do that. I mean, regards to, I'm offer kind of folk can afford to, man. They should always be. If they need to pay extra tax or whatever, then they can do it. But I think that for Killie, like, as an expensive period,
I dig at Angela Rayner because she's a big listener.
But believe it or not, actually, I had a slight bit of sympathy for her. I
quite like her. I feel bad too, but listen.
But she would have.
Guy.
But she would have said the exact same if somebody else, if she was in other foots. That's as partisan as politics is, unfortunately. But there was a slight bit of sympathy initially. But that aside, I think that obviously Bowie's digging deep. It's cost cutting now. If fans can afford to pay more. But again, another plug, man. Killie Trust, man, if folk can do it, please sign up, because that's money that's going directly into the club, and that will certainly help. Things like that, I know we can't compete with the likes of Hearts, but the fact that Motherwell and St Mirren have got more fans paying into like their kind of trust than ourselves should really be a kind of wake up call, and that's all money that goes directly to the club and is already financed so many great initiatives. So I can see both. All right, mate. Captain Conker gets in touch. The gorgeous squirrel. He's been spotted in the side of a motorbike recently. He's been doing his work at the side of the pitch. What's next for this gorgeous mutant? We'll find out soon. Would you feel more confident if Marley was asked to do the lone striker role on Sunday instead of Dackers until he gets more experience in that kind of role? And if you had to manage a players versus fans game, who's in your squad for both sides? So we spoke a wee bit about Marley there, and we reckon that he might be involved. So what about if you were managing? You're obviously an experienced manager with quite a large trophy collection.
Yes.
For your time in the Sundays. Players versus fans. So let's talk about fans. Who do you think would be? Who would you want on the Killie fans team? Be a good player. Aye, give me three guys that you think. Aye, he'd be decent.
Robbie Muirhead.
Well,
aye,
Robbie. To be fair, aye. Andy Barlow's a good player.
Andy Barlow, right?
A very good player.
Aye.
Got to give Mick a mention.
Matt Grant got a few medals himself.
Aye, he does. He's one of the most decorated players in Ayrshire, believe it or not. Playing the least amount of minutes for that. But no, Mick's a good player. Fraz Cairns, good experience. What we've said, they must have played how many? About 1,000 games at amateur football.
Aye.
A lot of football in there. So
seen a lot of Fraz this week. He's in my bathroom. What I will say, what a whistler.
Aye.
He's got his music on and he whistles away to everything.
Does he not listen to the podcast?
He does listen to the podcast, but he didn't want to listen to it in my house when I was there because it embarrassed me. When he's rang, I would actually love that.
Aye.
But aye. So Fraz Cairns, Andy Barlow and Mick Grant.
Aye, so I've got to stay loyal with the Grange boys.
What about Kirky, midfield enforcer?
I thought he was a centre half.
Aye, I prefer him just screening.
Aye.
Screening. You get any shouts, Ewan, that you would bring in any good players?
I'm really not so sure, to be honest.
No, struggling.
Popular Kilmarnock fan Brian Tivendale might have a go in goals.
There you go, get a Tiv in. My goodness.
Tiv in nets, man.
Excellent. Right, Christy Sykes gets in touch. If the opportunity ever came up and Steve Clarke had the chance to come back, would you take him back, or do you feel he wouldn't be able to live up to what he had previously done and damage his reputation?
Well, of course there's that element that you don't want him to ruin what's been there, but I don't think it would be possible for him to ruin that. Whether you would reach the same heights are probably unlikely, but there's absolutely no doubt that if there's a possibility of Steve Clarke, yeah, absolutely take it. I mean, and so would, I believe, probably every other team in the league out with the two.
Aye, I think they would take him and all. I would take him back. That's like telling Jesus not to come back on a Sunday. Graham Johnson gets in touch and says, don't have a question this week, just a reminder for anyone who listens to the main poddy but hasn't signed up to the Patreon, a few quid a month and very well worth it. I've fallen behind but I'm enjoying catching up. Thanks so much, Graham.
Legend, mate. Thank you.
Appreciate that, mate. Real Boydie gets in touch, following on from my comments on the Patreon. I hear folks say this all the time, but when in my regular pub he drinks in Ocean's 11, I'd like to know Monty's take on this. Was Ocean's really that much better when it was the route?
100% was, wasn't it?
We'd be good to catch you for a beer soon, boys. I love Oceans to bits, but the downfall has begun when Red Stripe was removed from the taps and elite pint. That Menabrea is pish. I do think Menabrea is really overrated.
It's overrated, man. I think it is.
You're a Menabrea fan?
Aye, I love it.
Oh, do you?
I think
it's 3-4 pints off it on Saturday.
I've just never managed to quite take to it.
It was one of them.
I like the big glass right
at
now.
first I was, this is brilliant, but I don't know, man. Overrated for me, mate.
Fair enough. I enjoy it.
I saw through the Madry.
You did
early doors, man. But well, for you, Oceans was well, the Thursday nights were the
Thursday pound a drink before you went to life. But amazing. My spiritual home for a while. But we badly missed the Red Stripe on tap. It was a real treat.
Me going to be a grandfather.
Me going to be grandfather. Right, Al Snow's synthetic cranium. Unless I've missed anything, am I right in saying Kettlewell has exclusively worn trackies in the dugout? How do we feel about this? Does he stick to his tried and tested, or does he need to get himself to Zara over the international break?
Why?
Is it just trackies all the time?
Aye, I think so. He needs to get himself to Silverburn.
You think so?
Aye.
I'm on the Ket train with that, man.
Aye.
I love it. I love
like
it.
The trackies?
Aye. I love it. At the risky, what I'm kind of wearing myself here is the...
Aye, it is a bit managery.
Aye, but I'm with... Who's that kind of non-league manager in England?
Oh, the guy that manages Dorking.
Aye.
Can't remind his name.
Oh, it's right in my head. But he was very good on it. Like he went and he was on Under the Cosh and he was going nuts about the FA Cup final. It should be your best suit and all that, and you've wear the flower in that, and he's like, you've got folk turning up in M&S jumpers and all that. He's like, unacceptable.
We used to be a country.
Exactly, mate. It's like Pep's ruined football, mate.
I know. I'm happy for him to stick with the trackies for now.
Old school, man.
Right, Jack Shields, is Callum Patterson the best utility man in football history, and should we have tried to sign him? So Callum Patterson, Scotland caps, played with Hearts, played down in England, Sheffield Wednesday, Cardiff, etc. Is that who he signed for?
Two, so you would like to think that kind of clubs in Scotland would have maybe been able to compete with that, but he's maybe settled in there now. I presume he can probably pay more money right enough, but very good player and in his day, and again utility man, right back, right mid, up top, whatever. He could play everywhere, dead physical in that. I was shocked at how many Scotland caps he's had.
Is it quite high?
It's like 17 or something. I think I was
quite still about the squad 4 or 5 years ago.
It was even the kind of starter Clark.
That's right.
Still played that time.
So I would. Jack makes a good point.
I would dispute that though and say Brad Lyons, given his video exploits and that pitch in thing.
He's added another string to his bow.
Aye,
there's Brad. Okay, right. Question for Ewan.
Yes,
could the Chronicle gauge what players or managers think could improve the matchday experience at Rugby Park, or specifically for me, get Kettlewell to demand their goals at the East Stand be put somewhere outside the stadium to make the place look a bit more top flight? So is that like the kind of training goals they get pushed in the corner?
Yeah,
so is that something that you would ever discuss with a player or manager about the atmosphere or whatever?
Not saying I wouldn't. I'm also not saying I would get a totally serious response either, though. That's just the reality of it. I'm not really sure that they're interested.
Aye, that'd be my immediate thought. The general won't care about the result on a Saturday and that.
As long as they get paid and they're doing their job, and obviously they're together, they're professional, they want to win and things like that, but I'm not really too sure they would care all that much about what goes on in the stands or behind East Stand.
And the seagull problem, can't I mean? So that's it.
I generally might ask about that at some point, because I can imagine that could be a little bit frustrating. You're running and then
seagull like tackling you.
So if we had that 25 million quid, whether we could buy Atletico Madrid's hawker now.
Aye.
Or Benfica, was it? Sorry.
Benfica's whatever man it was. Right, the Gunnar Vance gets in touch, the handsome man. How many times does Brendan mention the pitch after we win on Sunday? Question 2, do you think the cost cutting is a long term thing after promotion, Dell spending the new pitch and the training facility being built? So there's no question about it. If Celtic don't get the right result, the pitch will be brought up. That's one of Brendan's favourite things.
Well, I'm not excited to see what you'll come up with.
I don't do that anymore. I'm no gimmick based now. I'm a serious journalist.
You're a gimmick, man.
So
Aye.
And
that's why we're on that side of the table, son. That side of the table, big man.
Still have to record that live. Well,
I can come in here and Stu could do it, aye.
Record it for you,
live
man.
Music video.
And that's it, aye, a live music video. Keep it like Band-Aid.
Oh, that's a great
And
idea,
then we
man.
can get others like different.
Get Robbie
bands,
D's into singing a bit,
exactly, man. That's it, man.
Do we think so? The spending thing? Do we think this is the sign of things to come?
For maybe the next year or two.
For the time being, aye, absolutely. I think that's the kind of messaging that's come out from the manager and others high up in the club. Obviously, it's to help fund the pitch that we've spoken about, and that's going to probably cost 7 figures. Obviously, Billy Bowie himself is funding the training complex, which is going to be so unbelievably transformative for the club of this size. Like St Mirren have got their own one, Dundee have got their own one, Motherwell, other teams have their own training facility. It is undoubtedly an attraction to bring players in, and it's also a bit maybe a turn off for players that are potentially weighing up their options as well that are currently in the building. Not saying that's the case for anyone right now, but just maybe in the past. So if that's the kind of means to the end of cutting costs, then I suppose it's just the way it needs to be. But also, I mean, the losses that have been posted the last 2 financial years is not sustainable, so they need to kind of stop the bleeding there. And Corrie and Davo is the start of getting profits in for players, and I'd imagine the likes of Ben Brannan and others will be the kind of targets for the years to come. And then hopefully you do see a bit of reinvestment. I kind of wrote about it after the Motherwell game in the kind of immediate aftermath there, than the exact position that Killie need to aspire to be in terms of bringing in a lot of money for a player and then being able to pick up a Regan Charles Cook or Emmanuel Longolo, however you say his name, who look like a kind of bit of a cut above.
Fair point, mate. Right, another question for you then, man. For you, and this is for Galak, were we pipped at the post to any targets by other clubs in the league that you know of, and have you heard any other salacious transfer rumours that didn't materialise?
Definitely nothing salacious anyways. Not sure about that. It's kind of always the case. It's certainly nothing I could certainly kind of divulge in camera. It's such a small pond.
It's funny, the maths is there, and I mean, you presume that MD that signed for Motherwell, St Mirren, Dundee, we would have probably been in the hunt for as well, and vice versa.
Likewise, I totally believe that there would have been other teams in for Jamie Brandon and Scott Tiffany.
And they've came with us.
Exactly.
Right, last two. Taylor Day gets in touch. He's got a nickname for George Stanger.
Oh, that's what we wanted, wasn't it?
Right, Taylor, I finally found out a name for George Stanger. He's to be known as the All Whites player of Melrose. Because that's his birth location, which is in the Scottish borders, and his parents are from New Zealand.
I
hope he performs well
this
Sunday.
Love that, mate.
That's very grandiose, isn't it? Right. And Alessandro Boscanero, who is many things in this world, but certainly not Italian. Sorry, it's been a while. Mondays have been busy lately, not a problem, mate. Keeping it simple. One word answer for you boys. Do we keep the unbeaten run going on Sunday?
Yes.
There we go.
Sorted.
It's all about the positivity. Right, this is the most controversial part of the week. We're going to do it. It's Alan Agnew's Gripe of the week.
Yes.
Alan's Gripe of the week. Right. If listen, it's an open forum. It's a democracy we're running here. Your right to reply is there. The most annoying thing is mobile phones at a football match. Fine, use them for photos and phoning. But you're at the game. Why bring them out to film a game? Utter nuts. Most people are no David Bailey. Sometimes someone will photo the back of your head. I wish people would stop using them when walking. How the hell can they see? I've had hundreds of people bump into me because they weren't looking. Well, I just stop in front of them and I give them a big cuddle. I hope you're enjoying the gripes. I know some people don't, but plenty do. I'll only stop if you guys ask me to. In fact, the more annoying people are spurring me on.
Yes.
It's intense, man.
That's what we want for Agnew, man.
Feels like a post-match Del McInnes and May scrum in here with that part.
It does, aye.
So there you go, mobile phones at football matches. The man has spoken.
Certainly I agree. Really kind of sanitises the product in general, and I'm glad that it's no. I know vlogging's like a huge thing, which I'm a bit 50-50 on myself, to be honest. Like particularly throughout the entire game, I get it before I'm maybe like ground toppers, but if I go to the fit bar, well, I'm there to watch Killie, and that alone. Get it for other kind of content creation things, maybe pre and post match, but This is me obviously covering our asses in case you end up getting something like that.
I mean, it's a load of shit until we do it, and then it'll be alright.
But you would never see me with a selfie stick and film on my reaction to what's happening at Kilmarnock. But
that would be good, eh?
I don't know.
It's not too late.
Man. I don't know if it would be.
Never see you with a selfie stick at 5-3, still in the pyramid. running down in your bike, running down.
This is me on my walk.
Never seen a kick off since I was 14.
I know, man.
Terrible.
I need to change my habits now anyway. But so I agree with Agnew on that one, man. Especially in England when you see that and somebody scored and Man City, Liverpool players upset and Man City fans are sitting taking pictures like, come on.
Shocking, man. Right, okay, we'll do all roads lead to Killie.
Get this wrapped up, man.
Get it wrapped up. Right, so as you know, we're trying to raise a wee bit extra cash for the food bank, so we're playing this wee game. Cal, you've got some help this week for Ewan. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to track the career of a player that also played with Killie. And without naming him, you've got to guess who he is just by the clubs he played for.
Kevin was going to say as well, just while she get it, well, I know you've got it ready, but I was just going to throw you in under the bus to be like, feel the different pressure when you just need to answer the cameras on you. Whereas we're two together, it will help. But I was going to be like, just make you and do it. Nah, but I'll assist.
I'm happy to take it on, and then you can help me if you want.
Right, okay, right. So Cal's going to be your phone a friend.
Aye.
Right, you ready, mate? First one is this. Bolton Wanderers, Swindon Town on loan, Rochdale on loan, Shrewsbury on loan, Chesterfield on loan and Rochdale on loan, Rio Ave, Bury, Plymouth Argyle, Kilmarnock, Dundee United, Oldham Athletic.
Topi Obadiah.
Topi Obadiah, straight in.
That's right.
1 for 1.
It was Dundee United gave me it.
Is that the one?
Aye.
Right, okay. Excellent, 1 for 1. Next one. IFK Marystadt, IFK Gothenburg, Sunderland, Kilmarnock on loan, FC North Shelland, IFK North Shopping, Sparta Prague.
David Moberg Carlson.
That's right, man.
Ice cold, man.
Easy.
2 for 2.
He only played like a couple of games.
4 for us, went on to have cap for Sweden.
He's
played against was it Celtic in Europa League?
That's right, aye.
So there we go, Topi Obadiah and David Moberg Carlson. Right, you ready for this one?
Can see the theme you're going for here.
Aye.
Wide men.
But to mix it up, baby.
Oh,
St Anthony's, Dalry Thistle, Queen of the South, Glenafton, Kilmarnock, St Mirren, Alloa, Dumbarton.
I think I've got it.
God.
You're talking 90s?
1990s, mate.
Might be more of a struggle for me this one then.
Phone a friend?
I need
Tam Brun.
It's Tam Brun, mate. Bruno. First Killie player ever seen score a goal.
That's right, the game against Dundee, first home game.
There we go, 3 for 3 and quick as well. Shows you how long.
Helping on that last one.
How long we take.
No problem,
obviously faffing a bit. Right, okay, right. That'll just about days. So everybody will encourage you to get along. I know some folk have got reservations still about going to Celtic and Rangers games at home, but please do get along on Sunday, 3 o'clock kick-off if you can make it. If you're listening abroad or watching the Killie game abroad, then your support is still felt and respected, even if you're not in the stadium. So, okay, that'll do us. Ewan, thanks very much for coming on, man.
Thanks very much for having me. Pleasure as always, boys.
And have a wee check out of the Killie Chronicle if you haven't already. Killie Cal, nice to see you.
As always.
And we'll be back next week with a wee review of the Celtic game and looking forward to the big quarter final against St Mirren. Catch you then.